This is Robert Kraft, and I'm coming to you live on SNNLive, and we're here at the Source Capital Group 2016 Disruptive Growth and Healthcare Conference in New York City. With me right now is Geert, Kersten from CEL-SCI Corporation. The symbol is CVM. Geert, welcome back to SNNLive.
Thank you, Robert, for having me back.
It's our pleasure. So for our audience that may have missed our first interview, before we get into an update, let's get an overview of CEL-SCI.
We have an idea that we think would change the treatment of cancer. When people are diagnosed with cancer, they always rush to take vitamins and herbs and meditation, fruit juices. Why? Because they want to boost the immune system. The only treatments we have are old: surgery, radiation, chemo, and people really don't want them. Everybody wants to boost their immune system, but there's no medicine. We want to create that medicine. Therefore, we are now running the largest phase 3 clinical trial ever done in head and neck cancer, which is about 6% of the world's cancer cases. And we're giving you the medicine, our medicine, in a way it's never been done, right after diagnosis, before you get your surgery, radiation, and chemo. And the idea is that the combination of all of those gives you a higher chance of being cured. That is what we're about.
Okay, so actually before we get into the update, I want to get into the technology and the science a little bit more and how it actually works, and what you're trying to do. So you're telling me that you're going to be giving the medicine right after diagnosis before everything. Is that correct?
That's correct. You go to the dentist, for example. The dentist looks around your mouth. The dentist finds a tumor, sends you to the surgeon. You're scheduled for surgery. In the US, it's about 4 weeks until surgery. In some places, it's longer. Therefore, we're allowed to treat for 3 weeks, and not anymore, because you cannot delay a proven therapy, surgery, to try and experimental medicines might harm the patient. What our drug actually does is, simplistically, it helps your immune system see the cancer. See, the real problem is our immune systems cannot see the cancer. But in our case, you give multikine, and now the immune system, which is still relatively healthy, can see the cancer. And what you have as a result thereof, in 3 weeks, a massive infiltration of T cells. It's a huge inflammatory response coming into your tumor. And the results are just very strong. And by the way, we've never seen any serious adverse events. So we have the hope that this might be the first ever non-toxic cancer therapy.
Okay, so again, one more question about this is, I guess it's on the clinical side. How do you know that what you've developed when you give it to the patient, that's the reason why they are potentially getting better? Because if it's right before all the surgeries and everything like that, how are you able to track it's what you gave them that's helping them?
You have actually hit on the main point that most people don't understand. We have pathology to confirm that it's tumor before multikine is given, and then the tumor after multikine is cut out, including all of the surrounding tissue. So you have pathology. It's an objective science. And we have pathologists looking at it under a microscope. They stain for cancer cells. They can see the changes. They know exactly what kind of cells come in, what changes occur inside the body, and then essentially how the tumor has become visible to the immune system. Essentially what the product does is it breaks tumor tolerance. Your immune system will no longer tolerate the tumor and starts fighting it.
Okay, so now we're going to get into the update. As I said, I think the last time we spoke was in October last year, so a lot's happened in the company. So let's take it one by one. What's been going on with CEL-SCI?
Well, in order to prove a concept like this, you have to run massive clinical trials. We are running what is the largest clinical trial ever done in head and neck cancer. In fact, we're in 24 countries. We have about 85 sites. Probably only half of them have enrolled so far because most of them are surgeons. But what we're seeing is rapidly increasing enrollment. For example, in 2015, we enrolled more patients than in the prior 4 years combined.
Hold on, how is that possible that you got more than 4 years combined?
If you talk to the doctors, they like what they're seeing. It's blinded, we don't know the details, but they're telling us they like what they're seeing. They like the drug, and they're putting more patients into the study as once they've tried it. So I read that to be very positive.
Okay, so what else has been going on in the company? I know there's been a few news releases over the last few months.
So obviously you have to fund a study like this. The company that's now running, we had some initial problems with the initial company that was running our phase 3, we fired them. But the company that's now running it has put substantial amounts of monies, $12 million, and they're a small company, into our study. And that money will only come back to them if we're successful, because they get it in the form of a royalty. So that's a substantial amount of money for a small company. In October, they added another $2 million. So again, I would like to think that since they're the ones who see every day and talking to the doctors what the doctors' reactions are and see if there are problems, they wouldn't have put another $2 million in if things were going badly. We also have a huge arbitration case going against the company that used to run our phase 3. And it's on account of those people that we lost so much in share value years ago, that we found a group in New York City that does litigation funding. When our bills were running $300,000 a month. I mean, that is ludicrous. And we knew the case is so strong. But now we pay zero, absolutely zero. It is such a great feeling when these bills come in, because this firm has taken over all bills, and we can now go to the end of the trial, which is coming up in just a few months. It's already been scheduled, but I'm not, cleared to give the final date. And then we can let people know just what happened, and no one is going to believe until they see it the horrible things that actually happened behind the scene.
And is there anything else that's been going on, or is there anything else that, our audience, you think should know?
There's a lot of stuff that's going on. We really focused on the phase 3 study. The same medicine that's being developed by us for the phase 3, and by the way, we have great partners. We have the National Institutes of Health as a partner. We have Teva as a partner. We have other ones as partners. But also we have the U.S. Navy at San Diego Naval Base running a study of the same medicine we use against head and neck cancer, but against HIV-infected people, or for HIV-infected people who are co-infected with the human papillomavirus, which is the #1 sexually transmitted virus. It's a big problem in the HIV-infected. We also have a rheumatoid arthritis vaccine in preclinical studies, basically funded with government monies. That looks very, very promising. But in our discussions, we really just focus on the phase 3 because that is the main driver of the company.
Okay, so before we talk about what's going on, what's coming up, I'm curious, how did you get into the company? What's your background, and where did CEL-SCI come into your life?
I've been with this for over 20 years. It started with a simple idea. The immune system must be important in the treatment of cancer. You should boost the immune system while it's still healthy. It makes so much logical sense. And for years, almost 20 years, people told us we were wrong. Now the immune system has gotten hot. Cancer immunotherapy is the hot field. That's where all the advances are coming from. They're talking about the word cure for the first time ever. We believe that you should boost the immune system up front. And that is essentially why I've stuck with it all of these years. By background, I have an MBA in finance, I have a law degree, but these are all very, very important in running a company.
Okay, so actually going back to the litigation funding, I've never heard of that. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Isn't that cool? I just think it is so amazing. I have encountered in the development of this cancer drug so many nasty, horrible people who only care about money. And then I ran into this group that decides that it's going to be on the other side, helping the little guy. And what they do is, they obviously check out the cases. They're not there to give you money for free. These are all investments. But they check out the cases over the course of several months, meet with expert witnesses, make sure the other side can pay, and all of those things. Then they fund these cases as a counterweight to what's happening more and more, which is that the big companies are crushing little companies with legal fees, and the good cases never ever get to the finish line. And now comes the best part. They got no shares, they got no options, they get nothing other than proceeds if we win. If we don't win, which I don't think is unlikely, which I don't think is likely, if we don't win, they get 0.
So, we're in 2016. What I want to know, from what you can tell me, what are some of your goals and milestones for the upcoming year?
We hope to fully enroll the study by the summer. Then we'll probably have to add some people because the first CRO did such a horrible job, and we'll have to replace people that they did, which by itself tells you that they're not the best CRO. In a few months, we'll be going into the trial, or it's actually called a hearing, against the big CRO. We should be getting data this year on the Navy study in HIV/HPV, and there may be a few other things that we're currently working on, but I can't disclose yet.
So where can our audience go and find more information about CEL-SCI?
You can go to our website, www.CEL-SCI.com. And with the internet these days, all you have to do is type in our name, CEL-SCI.com.
My name is Robert Kraft, and I'm coming to you live on SNNLive, and we're here at the Source Capital Group 2016 Disruptive Growth and Healthcare Conference in New York City. With me again has been Geert, Kersten from CEL-SCI Corporation. This symbol is CVM. Thank you so much for coming back.
Thank you, Robert. It's been great.
Thank you.